To the New Hampshire primary, and joining us now, the veteran GOP political consultant Ed Rollins, a former member of the Reagan administration, former campaign manager for the Republican presidential candidates Michelle Bachmann and Mike Huckabee, plus Fox News political analyst Juan Williams and political analyst James Kotecki from the Cypress Group, a nonpartisan public policy D.C. consulting firm. Ed Rollins, back in New York today. I guess we couldn't afford a plane for him. Ed, is there a conservative? Is there a conservative challenger, or what? It doesn't much feel like it, does it?
There isn't. You know, obviously Santorum got to fill that void in Iowa, but he's not moving up the way that he had hoped, I think, here in New Hampshire. You still have 24 hours, but I think at the end of the day, 75% obviously are looking for an alternative to Romney, and that should be a conservative, but no one seems to be emerging. And you know, you've got really two more contests after this, South Carolina, which obviously is all about conservatives, and then you got Florida. And Florida is a statewide race with 10 media markets, so unless you have money organization, the problem here is you got some smart people who know government and a whole variety of things, but you don't have many people with an organization and the ability to go the long haul.
You really don't. And James Kotecki, I'm guessing that Tea Party folks across America are astonished that they have so little play here.
I mean, yeah, by all accounts, this should have been their year. They did very well in the 2010 elections, and now they should be trying to mount a challenger to President Obama that they like. Unfortunately, they don't have one. I do think at the end of the day, though, they got to fall in line behind Romney if he's the challenger, because they just hate Obama that much more.
But in the meantime, Juan, aren't the conservatives who are still in the race giving them more ammunition to hate Mitt Romney? I mean, aren't the conservatives just being told Mitt Romney's awful, Mitt Romney's awful, Mitt Romney's awful? It's hard to later go, oh, Mitt Romney's awesome.
I think that's right, and what's interesting to me is it's not coming from any particular trumpet.
No.
It's coming from the grassroots. Remember, the Tea Party people have never been comfortable with Romney, and this goes back, of course, to flip-flops on issues from abortion to gay rights, and of course to Romney care, as we call it in neighboring Massachusetts. So they don't see him as able to take the fight to Barack Obama, and what they really want is they want a slugger. They want someone that's going to go punch at Barack Obama. And I think this is a big problem. Of course, as we just said, they're going to settle on Romney if he's the nominee.
Ed, is the sense that Newt Gingrich is the attack dog now against Romney and really against the White House? Is that what's going on here?
Well, the problem that Newt has, and he is the most effective communicator and probably would be the best debater, but he comes off as too mean and strident, and at the end of the day, you still got to like the person you're going to vote for. You know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, Newt had an opportunity to put an organization together to get on the offensive to make his case positive, but instead he's now whining about being hit with negative advertising. That's politics. I mean, he's been around the game for a long, long time, and he should have anticipated this, and he should have responded, and he hasn't done that to date.
James, why are all these conservatives still in this race? Surely they know that they're just dividing up their small piece of this pie.
Well, yeah, but they hope that they're going to have maybe another moment in the center that they're going to be the one that everybody unites around. And I think that, unfortunately for Republicans, perhaps, maybe Mitt Romney is like the John Kerry of 2012 for the Republicans. He comes out of Massachusetts. He's kind of the consensus choice that everybody thinks might be the most electable. He's not the one that really fires up the party loyalty, the loyalists. And then at the end of the day, he might lose in a close race to Barack Obama. I think it's a very clear pattern that's playing itself out again on the Republican side.
The big question for me is threshold. When we're looking at the results on Tuesday night, does Rick Santorum, in terms of his performance, rise to the level, and he's going to take away votes from somebody, but it could be Ron Paul, could be Mitt Romney, but rise to the level where you and I say, oh, you know what? He kept some of that momentum coming out of Iowa, and it's not going to transfer down to South Carolina. Does Mitt Romney perform better than the 40%, and people say, you know what, he is now unstoppable?
I wonder what his threshold is, Ed. Is it possible that if he doesn't hit 40, that a bunch of idiots like us are going to go, ah, he failed, he failed?
Sure, and I think realistically he's probably going to drop down a few points just simply because that's the way New Hampshire is. You still got 40+% who haven't made up their mind, and we've all won, and I've been around a long time. We've watched lots of switches in New Hampshire at the end. I think the key thing here is how well does he do in South Carolina in the next 10 days. That is always a trap for a more moderate, and they're ready for bear when he gets down there, and they're going to beat him up pretty good.
It's a trap. Ed Rollins. Thank you, James Kotecki.
Can't withstand firepower of that magnitude.
No, you can't. I still would have loved to have had that mascot. Good of you all. Thank you. Special edition of America's Election Headquarters with Brett Baer and Megyn Kelly is just ahead. But first, we'll wrap things up with some of the top political headlines of the day. Stay with us.